Welcome back to another video here at Need for Build with my B9 Stage 2 Plus SQ5. Today we'll be going from Stage 2 Plus to Stage 3 Plus with integrated engineering. The first thing I'm going to do is run through the modifications already done to this car, being Stage 2 Plus, and as I'm jumping to Stage 3 Plus, all I'm doing is installing the turbo and the IE/RS recommended injectors, and also the 4-bar map sensors from TTE. The current modifications that I have on my vehicle are this IE FDS intercooler paired up with the IE intake and the IE turbo inlet. I also have a Turbo Smart blow-off valve that I'll be switching to a Turbo Smart diverter valve pretty soon here. And I also have a CTS catless downpipe and an APR high pressure fuel pump. So like I said, today I'll only be installing the TTE 810 turbo, the RS injectors, and the 4-bar map sensors from TTE. This turbo is absolutely gorgeous. Don't mind there's a little bit of oil right here. It's just so massive. How it's bored out. I mean, the 66mm inlet is huge compared to the stock one, but we will be comparing the turbos. Once I pull the stock turbo out, we'll put it up next to the 810 and we'll compare it. The differences between this TTE 710 and the TTE 810, I believe, are only in the turbine housing. And I think that it just has less back pressure compared to the 710, which technically should be able to make a little bit more power than the 710. I'm not sure. We're going to be testing this out, and I will be recording everything as I'm going. I will do my best to include all the footage of my install for you guys to know, what to do, what's the next step. The high pressure fuel pump is very simple to install, and so I probably won't show you how to install it since I already have it installed. It's as simple as 3 or 4 bolts and a couple fuel line connections. It's very simple to take out and put back in. I mean, it took me about 10 minutes to install when I was going from Stage 285 to Stage 2 Plus, so nothing crazy. But the injectors are a little bit more difficult to install. Map sensors are pretty easy. The turbo is probably the most difficult part of this entire thing. I'm pretty excited to get this little tiny stock turbo out of here and get this big bad boy right in there. Let's get it. First thing we're going to be doing is removing this map sensor and also this map sensor out. These are, I believe, a T20 and a T30, and these two are going to be replacing those. These are the 4-bar map sensors from TTE, and they are a must and required by integrated engineering. We got both map bar sensors installed, clipped in 100%. The next step will be to take off the intake, the inlet, disconnect the charge pipes from the turbo down there, start taking all of this apart right here, because the next step that I will be doing is these RS injector. That requires the fuel rails to be removed from both sides, from the passenger and the driver's side. I will need to get underneath all of this. Lots of work needs to get done, so let's get right into it. So I finally got the fuel rail out. It was not too difficult. Definitely had to unplug all of these connections right here and take off the heat shield. As soon as you unbolt the fuel rail, it pops out very easily. So now all we have to do is pull these 3 injectors out and put the new ones back in. Make sure that these clips are switched to the new injectors, and then the fuel rail goes right back in. So before you put the fuel rail back in, or even before you get the injectors back in, I highly recommend that you lube up the O-ring seals and check the fuel rail, make sure that it's all properly clean inside. Also switch over from your stock injectors to the RS injectors, these little clips, and that will hold the injectors in place. Let's get back to reinstalling everything. Right, made a little mess from all the coolants, but now that we got that side in, all of the driver's side injectors are installed and tightened up, and so are these. I have the wiring harness moved out of the way. It might be a little messy for now, but I want to have look at my glove. I would like to have maximum access to the turbo, and all of the electrical connections have moved out of the way because I need to gain access to the bolts at the intake manifold, and then also from the turbo outlet, and a couple more things. I have the throttle body off too. All it is 4 bolts holding that throttle body. There's also a bracket holds this reservoir right here on the SQ5. I took that off. I'll probably put it back on at the end, but I don't mind it out of the way because it just provides so much more access to the injectors on the driver's side. We're gonna get into removing the turbo and installing the 810. This is pretty simple from here. You got to take off sensor and start unbolting all the coolant and oil lines all around the turbo, and then we'll get to unbolting the turbo itself. Finally got this bad boy out. A little dirty. Well, just gonna clean it all up. There you go. So I'm almost done swapping everything from the old turbo to the new TT 810. I just wanted to give you guys a comparison. Look at the inlet on this turbo and look on the inlet on this turbo. What a massive difference. I mean, it's crazy how different it is. And then if you look on the back side, the outlet of the 810 and the outlet of the stock turbo, I mean, what a huge difference in flow and size. This turbo is gonna push a ton of air through the engine, that's for sure. So I'm almost done swapping everything from that turbo to this turbo, and then I'll be putting this turbo in the car, and then we'll put everything back together, the wiring harness, the turbo, coolant and oil lines, and then we'll get to tuning the car. After multiple struggles, finally got the turbo in, all buttoned up with all coolant lines, and the exhaust ports are buttoned up. Everything is connected, basically ready to go. All I have to do is put the wiring harness back in together, put the turbo inlet on, and then also the intake, and then I'll be pretty close to being done. The tool that has helped me the most is this little bad boy right here, especially for the turbo outlet bolts and the intake manifold bolts when you have to remove them, and also the throttle body. Man, it is so tough. You definitely need to use this little bad boy, just a 2-inch or a 3-inch extension on a 1/4 inch. After I button up the wiring harness, the throttle body, inlet and intake, I'll make sure everything is connected, ready to go, and then we'll get the files loaded on. I'll show you guys how to do that. What a beautiful turbo. So it's the next day here. I spent a little bit too much time getting everything put together last night, but as you can see, I got everything connected back together. So now all there's left to do is flash the 810 file that's currently in beta. I don't have an idea of what the parameters are on it yet, but I'm gonna show you guys how to flash your car after you've installed your 710 or 810. So here we are. I already have my laptop kind of set up, ready to go. First thing you need to do is turn on your car, which mine is on now. And the next thing you need to do is open up your IE Flash Wizard and click Tune. Once you got your ignition on, you plug your cable in, and it is highly recommended that you hook up a battery charger to your battery. I don't do it every single time I flash this car, but it's highly suggested that you do. Click Next, and then make sure that your cable is plugged in to your OBD2 port, which mine is right there. Click Next. The ignition is on. The key has to be inside the car at all times. Let it load. Click Next. Go to Engine. And then here is your file, which in my case is a beta. Since I'm beta testing the 810 file, like I said, I have no idea what the parameters are. This is just a baseline safe calibration as we're doing testing on this turbo. And here you go. All you need to do is click Next, flash your car. Once you've completed your first flash, you will need to also flash your TCU, which I already have flashed mine. If you go to transmission and you go all the way down to stage 3, you will see 2 options. If you go all the way down to stage 3, you will see 2 options: aggressive launch 7,000 RPM shifts and aggressive launch 7,000 RPM shifts plus AMAX. I currently have the AMAX loaded up, and I already have it tuned, set on the car. So she is ready to go. Make sure the car is running. In fact, we're gonna do that right now. Turn it off and turn it back on. Boom. So I've double checked everything, make sure everything is running right. If there's no fuel leakage from the fuel rails, the high pressure fuel pump, no vacuum leaks, engine seems to be running really happy. As you can hear, just a normal tick, which is completely normal for a direct injection motor. Anyways, I'm gonna get set up and go on the first drive in the Stage 3 Plus E70 SQ5. So let's get it. So I'm finally here on the back roads of Mexico. I've been driving this car for about 15 miles or so. And guys, I mean, the turbo spool alone over the stock turbo is insane. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, wow. It puts you in your seats. I mean, it just... Stage 2 Plus does not compare to what this is. This is just next level. I'm not sure how much boost I'm actually running compared to the 710, considering this is the 810 beta file, and I know that the boost is turned down, but I mean the difference is night and day, and I was on Stage 2 Plus, so it was definitely making a lot of torque. But this is just next level. I'm amazed. The turbo noises alone have increased by 100%, if not more. The stock turbo spooled up really well. It spooled up so well, you know, around 2400 RPM, and it was already spooling up. By the time you hit 3000 RPM, it was spooled up fully, and it was loud. It definitely was loud with an intake and an inlet, but this TTE 810 sounds like an airplane engine that's spooling up. It's absolutely gorgeous. I hope you guys can hear this inside. The turbo sounds insane. It really does. I'm amazed by the amount of torque and power. I mean, the stock turbo just dies at about 4800 RPM. This turbo kicks in at around that 4800 RPM is when you have this just hole of torque that gets filled in a second. It's like an off and on switch. It's like there's no torque, and then it's just all the torque. I'm quite amazed at what this 810 is just compared to the stock turbo. I'm gonna loop around and see if I can get a couple of pulls for you so you guys can hear this turbo and this absolute like airplane engine spool up noise that this turbo is doing. It's just, nothing can compare. I knew it was going to be a big difference in the stock turbo to hybrid, but I did not expect it to be this different. And like I said, this turbo has a lot of dialing in to do. I have yet to talk to IE about any of the parameters, but the difference is just absolutely night and day. An SUV should not be moving this fast. It absolutely should not be moving this fast. Now everybody wants performance numbers, and so do I, trust me. And as this turbo gets dialed in, I definitely will be doing drag strip runs and street runs, full weight, max effort, and full kill mode. But today I think I'm gonna do one launch and see how the car does. Like I said, the turbo is turned down to make sure that everything is running right. So I'm not gonna go crazy with it, but I'm gonna attempt to do one launch on one of these Mexico roads and see what the 0 to 60 could be. I am full weight. I have a car seat in the back, a baby stroller. I don't know how well I'm gonna do, and I'm on my heavy Ford Star 22s. I have about half a tank of gas in the car. So the car is pretty much full weight, and with me in the car, it's around 4,700 pounds, I would say. I'm gonna do my best to do a 0 to 60, at least get one launch in and see what she does. Oh my goodness. Well, there it is. As you guys saw, I'm gonna guess that's like a 3-second flat 0 to 60. Could be slower, could be faster, I'm not sure. But this car has been turned into an absolute monster.
I cannot believe how fast it truly is. IE is doing an amazing job at any of their beta calibrations. Their 710 stuff was definitely mind-blowing, and I hope that their pure 750 and their pure 810 will also do, you know, amazing work. They'll probably make a little bit more power over the 710, so I'm gonna guess there's more to be had. Maybe get deeper into the 9s and the quarter mile, at least for the B9, S4, S5s. We have yet to see how fast my SQ5 is or will be. There's still a lot of dialing in to do with the 810, making sure that it's running properly, a lot of beta testing. I'm definitely gonna be taking to the drag strip before the end of the year, and I will be doing full weight and also max effort full kill runs. I would like to achieve a mid 10 second in the quarter mile. We'll see if that's even possible. I mean, these SQ5s are trucks. They really are. They're boats. As far as it goes, yes, it sucks. Some people are like, oh, it's a soccer mom car. And I guess it's a personal vendetta for me. That's SQ5. It's not a soccer mom car, especially if it's a mid 10 second quarter mile SQ5. And that's my goal. I'm sharing it with you guys. I will definitely do as much as I can to show you guys the development, the beta testing, the numbers that I have, whether it's 0 to 60s or quarter mile times. This car is very capable. And yes, it is heavier than the S4, S5. Also a little maybe less aerodynamic, but I'm hoping because my car is lowered, I'll be able to have a lower center of gravity and less drag. If you guys have enjoyed this little teaser today, I hope that I've earned your subscription. If you can please leave a like and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button. It's gonna help me out a lot as I'm trying to grow my channel and as I journey forward with my SQ5 and most likely other future upcoming projects. I hope that you'll follow me on this journey. Thank you so much for watching this video and take care.